LifeTraits, Discover Your Design Personality. This session or this webinar will be recorded, so you can listen to it at a future date whenever it's convenient for you. We also have a Q&A at the end of the seminar or at the end of the webinar, so if you have any questions, you could type them on the question box that you see on your screen, and at the end we'll open the floor for question and answers. So are we ready to start? Okay, so we'll start the recording right now, and we'll start. Well, again, thank you so much. My name is Linnore Gonzalez, and I'm here to share and talk to you about LifeTraits, how to discover your design personality and decorate for your design personality. I have a co-presenter today, Kristy White, and she's here to, hello Kristy, how are you?
Good, thank you, welcome.
And if you're following, if you're on Twitter, please follow us at Decor&You HR. And if you have any comments while you're listening to this webinar, don't forget to put the hashtag #LifeTraits. Okay, let's get started. So what is LifeTraits? Holly Seleny was the creator of LifeTraits. She is an interior designer and a speaker, and she founded Concept 360 in 1998 because she had an idea that understanding a person's personality is the key to a successful designed environment. Holly created the LifeTraits series and the LifeTraits quiz, which is a personality-based process for meeting individual needs to carefully balanced environments. Well, when she was dealing, because she's an interior designer, when she was dealing with her clients, she realized that people's unique personalities affected their choices and how they communicate with her during the design process. So most of you have taken the LifeTraits quiz. We've asked you to take them online, and it is a 20-question quiz that provides an understanding of how personality connects with the environment and how design choices are made. So what does the LifeTraits quiz reveal? You'll see that when you get your results, it tells you what you require for your space. It also tells you what bearing your personality has on where you live and with whom you live. It also tells you what you need from your space to function at your best and what you need to live more fully. So hopefully you got those results when you got the results of your quiz. LifeTraits has 4 personality types: Purist, Explorer, Director, and Naturalist. So we'll talk about Purist first. The words to describe a Purist is deliberate, ambitious, analytical, punctilious, and that just means, you know, you're, doesn't mean punctual. I thought that meant punctual, but it means that you're stiff, formal, you're correct and proper, or you have great attention to detail. But you can also be witty. So those are the words that describe a Purist. Now, the style, the Purist style, or the space of a Purist is always simple, it's clean, it's uncluttered, and very minimal. So quality and style are trusted, so they usually favor more classical lines of structure. And the common descriptors of a Purist, they usually value function over aesthetics. So they don't care if a space looks good as long as the space functions for them. They stay open for change. As a Purist, you have the genius to consistently know what you want and what you need. They have great organizational skills, so they're very organized in their space. They're precise and immediate, and they zero in on tasks at hand. The Purists, unlike any other personalities, can block out what isn't needed and zero in on the task at hand, so they're very focused. Although they're very well organized, they're not always neat. So, you know, they can have a little bit of chaos in their space as well. They connect their point of focus to a larger project, and for them, confidence and reality are important to help them with change. And they have a very streamlined design. So for Purists, it really is keeping it simple. The Purist personality stems from the tendency to process information by sensation. So Kristy's going to tell you some traits of a Purist with everyday things that they do.
Right, these are everyday functions of the Purist. So when it comes to eating, food is gourmet, and they either rough it or enjoy the best. Bathing, the particulars are important as are function and detail cleanliness and organization, or cleanliness and order rather, are a must in design. For storing, purists do not like clutter or a lot of knickknacks. Storage and organization are important, and that's how they keep things running smoothly. A purist thought process is now, so when it comes to thinking, they consistently know what they want and find it hard to listen to others' opinions.
Ooh, there you go.
When it comes to sleeping, function is more important than aesthetics, as Linnore said. The bedroom is purely for rest and relaxation. Work is for the office area only. I'm sorry. Purists always zero in on the task at hand, and they have a separate area for breaks. When it comes to play, purists work hard and play hard, but they will schedule their relaxation time. They take care that play time does not lose its spontaneity. And when traveling, it is necessary to reach their destination. We have a few slides of purist spaces. So purists are precise and have minimal design. They don't bring a lot of color into a space. So with whites and clean lines, a soft color of touch, as in this slide with some violets and purples, that's a perfect style for a purist. And they bring in plants for a sense of peace and nature, but not too exotic. And keeping lighting functional as well as beautiful, simple accent lighting can create a world of beauty. And this slide here shows very simple, minimal lines. They know where they're going to put an item, and they keep it in that space always.
So the next design personality is the explorer. So some of the words that describe the explorer is fun-loving, spontaneous, creative, and dynamic. So they have a lot of energy, and they usually have a lot of productive activity. So as an explorer, of all personality types, the explorer are the ones that overcommit because they have passion and energy for more than one thing. Their style is whatever comes along, and they love objects of wonder. They love rare and unusual daring items that make a statement. So in their space, plain vanilla will not do. They're full of creativity while being methodical. So they have a style of their own. So some of the descriptors for explorer, they back ideas with energy to pursue their conquest. Explorers are the ones you want to have on dangerous expedition when you're constructing a new home, developing new software, or unearthing complexities of ancient civilization. You want to have an explorer with you because they can outthink anyone. Their style is eclectic, varied, and layered. Chaos abounds in an explorer space, so they have to make sure that they focus their energy. They create spaces for storage within the spaces that offer endless options. For explorers, they have a place to set everything, or else they won't be satisfied. So it is important to them to not only have a place for where they can access it without interference. So storage is very important for explorers. They dive wholeheartedly, so they have to make sure that they stay prioritized. And in their spaces, you'll often see bold colors to organize a variety of things. So for explorers, it's always keeping it fun. The explorer personality arises from the tendency to process information by thinking. So they have a keen ability to think their way through solutions that appear daunting to others. So the explorers are always thinking. So Kristy will be back to tell you more about the traits of an explorer and everyday habits.
All right, they always eat on the go. They're not afraid to try new foods, and exotic foods are exciting and keep things interesting. They're always on the move. When it comes to bathing, running water is important, and clean water is even better. Storage, clutter from past, present, and future tends to build up for an explorer. They do not have a lot of organization, but if there's a spot to place their things, they'll be satisfied. Explorers process information by thinking. Oh, we have to go back one. There we go. They have a way to think their way through situations that appear daunting to others. Sleeping, function promotes relaxation. The comfy bed is all that is necessary to give them rest. Working, you will rarely find an explorer behind a desk. Their desks are mainly used as places to indicate their piles of paper and a base to refuel. Playing. Explorers are risk takers and prefer spontaneity over planned recreation. The unknown is much more fun for them. And traveling is essential for explorers. Necessities are appreciated. Roughing it is not having food or water. There are a few spaces that an explorer might have. Explorers are wild cards and have a style all their own. Spaces often look like a state of chaos. There's no sense of order, so explorers need to be creative with their storage. They usually have rare and unusual objects that make statements. A lot come from their travels. Bold and bright colors are often used to create visual accents. And keep lighting bright. So fluorescent lights work well for explorers. You need fewer replacements, which is perfect because they have so many projects that they need to accomplish.
Okay, so the next personality trait is the director. Some of the words to describe the director is private, intense, spontaneous, and precise. So the director requires the most complete privacy and level of control because they respond first by feeling. So they want everything in order. So the style of a director is an exquisite mix and match of their world arranged to perfection and presented with order and symmetry. Order placement and arrangement is key because feeling is tied into space planning. So some of the descriptors of a director, they are innately able to take a situation and provide logical and systematic solutions. They want to be in control. They are informed and they see the big picture and they know what needs to be done. You know, like too much in the environment creates chaos for the director. Even too much noise can be overwhelming for a director. They want solitude because it provides them time to process and organize. And placement of items, you'll see in a director's home that it is important to them how placement of the items will impact others. So they have purposely put that sofa or that table in that certain place because they know it looks good in there. They want to have control and knowledge of the environment because that's comfortable for them. They do stay open to new ideas, but they seek the best and usually know what that should be. So directors have ideas that are thought out, complete, and emotionally charged. So the way to describe a director is they always keep it order. The director's personality arises from the tendency to process information by feeling. So for a director, they usually need time to process all the information because they see the whole picture and feel the entire reality. So back to Kristy with some traits for everyday habits for directors.
Yes, a good presentation of food will restore the appetite, and an inviting atmosphere is as important to a director as the gourmet meal. Bathing, grace can be encountered even in the bath. Elegance and privacy are important, and locking out interruptions is a must. Organization is very important. Everything has its place. Directors process information by feeling. So this process is private, although their thoughts are worth sharing. Sleeping, relaxation, and luxury are equally important. Directors will surround themselves with a beautiful space for their alone time. And again, organization is important at work. You have to keep your space open for new ideas. Directors prefer planned activities over spontaneous fun. The unknown is stressful to them. And when traveling, all amenities are appreciated. Roughing it is not necessary for an adventure. A few spaces for a director. Their environment needs to be controlled and tailored. So directors will often have objects in their home that enhance a feeling. Design is based on how it looks and what others will feel when seeing an object. Order and symmetry are important. And symmetry doesn't have to be identical objects, but must create visual balance. So in this slide, you do have two chairs that balance each other that are the same, but on the right side you have a bookshelf, and symmetrically on the other side you have the plant that their heights are symmetrical to each other to balance. And lighting needs to be soft and controlled and peaceful, so dimmers are a plus for a director because they control and set the ambiance and mood. The
last assigned personality is the naturalist. The Naturalist, some of the words to describe them would be casual, chic, creative, and warm. As far as the Naturalist style, the Naturalists have the genius to throw caution to the wind and rely on innate problem-solving sixth sense. This makes a Naturalist space a melting pot for all welcome ideas, flavors, feelings, and style. So they fluid, colorful scenes that carries emotion and memory will be found in their space. And their space would have blends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And you would see a lot of natural elements being introduced in their home. Some of the descriptors for the rector, they like and seek openness and a sense of self and nature. They rely on daily connections to the environment. So they love the outdoors. They prefer the outdoors because of nature's beauty and openness. They avoid environments with rigid style that makes them feel and think. So that's why they like the outdoors, because it's open space. Visual cues and reminders take on importance. They don't like confinement or restraint, so they like natural flow. They have strong inclination to nature and connection to the outdoors, as we mentioned before, and they're sensitive to moments and emotions of process. The Naturalists need balance and find it in their surroundings or outside or nature in itself. They put natural elements within their environment for harmony and comfort. So usually excellent gardeners are naturalists, so special attention to porches, patios, and like screen porches should be considered as areas in their home. So naturalist keeps it light, so they're very casual, so everything is light in their environment, and the naturalist personality is based on the tendency to process information by intuition.
All right, everyday functions of a naturalist. When eating, naturalists love to be part of the dining experience. They know all the ingredients to provide a great meal for their friends or family. And when bathing, it's essential to rejuvenate, so bath soaps and salts are an added bonus for them. A naturalist needs storage. Containers are a good way for them to keep their spaces as organic as their thoughts. They know what to focus on, but they don't always know where they place everything. Naturalists process information by intuition or gut reactions. They're resourceful and adaptive. And sleeping, relaxation following a hard day's work is necessary for the soul. Comfort is key. Naturalists need to work at their own pace. They are inclusive and involved in everyone and everything. And when playing, spontaneous fun is preferred to over-planned activities. Naturalists are always willing to try new things, and the more the merrier. When traveling, they're self-sufficient and efficient. Roughing it would be traveling without the company of others. A couple slides to show a naturalist space. A naturalist is a melting pot for all welcoming ideas, flavors, feelings, and styles. They take time to use the natural world in their space to maintain and restore balance. And the next slide will show how nature's beauty is a part of the open environment and why a naturalist brings outdoor elements in. They keep lighting bright and open. Natural lighting is best for the naturalist, so large or a lot of windows are the key to keeping a naturalist in the outdoor environment.
Okay, the next few slides that we'd like to show you, as we mentioned before, the design personalities affect how you make choices and how you design in your home. So we'd like to show you an example, like when you're purchasing furniture or choosing furniture, how the different design personalities would tend to choose a furniture over another style of furniture because they're a naturalist or because they're an explorer or the rector or what's the other one? A purist. So let's start with a purist. Now, when it comes to furniture, the word that describes purist is exact. And because they're exact, they look for clean and uncluttered lines, and they look for high quality and style that make a statement. The explorer, on the other hand, when looking for furniture, would look for rare and unusual objects of wonder. They would look for something that's bold in color and style. That also can be as eclectic as they want to be. The naturalist is casual, so they look for warm, curved lines and layers of textures in furniture items. And they also are attracted to items that evoke memories and history that will tell a story. The director being organized will look for pieces that provide contrast and refined lines. They have defined style and color that make a classic statement. So let's just look at these furniture pieces closely. So this is the Purist. And again, at the Purist, the lines of the furniture that you see on this slide, they're very uncluttered. They have clean lines and are minimal. They usually use high-quality furniture and style to make a statement. So these are just examples of a Purist space.
And not a lot of color, just pops of color here and there.
Right. This is the Explorer space. As you see, it has very eclectic taste. It has a lot, sometimes it tends to have a lot of clutter in the home, and they tend to use bold colors. They usually decorate with items they find in their travels or something that they made personalized on their own, like maybe a mug that they painted or something, a portrait that they painted. Again, this is a naturalist space. You'll see that they have, they bring in the natural elements. The space is very light and airy. They tend to bring the outdoors in. They also tend to be a very warm and inviting space. And the last one is the director. The director has a lot of pieces that have a lot of high contrast, and it has refined lines, and they're positioned in a certain way where they have meaning and they look good to others. Their style and color that are used in the space creates a classic statement. Okay, so now we're ready for question and answers. Hopefully you guys were able to relate what we showed you on the different slides to the results of your quiz. So if you have any, if there are any questions, this is the time to ask them.
Yes, Linnore, one of the questions we have is, what if I feel like I have qualities from multiple design styles?
And you can have qualities, and I think for people who have their results, you're not only just one style. It is a combination of the 4 design personalities. You would tend to have a more, like a higher percentage on one style or the other, but we also know people who have 25% of each design personality. So that there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that you have the traits from the different personalities when it comes to choosing and when it comes to decorating your space.
And then a similar question we're seeing is, what if my spouse and I have contrasting styles?
And that's always, that happens. Because again, marriage is a compromise, and even if you didn't take the LifeTraits quiz, you'll get to find that when you live together with your spouse, sometimes he tends to like other things that you probably are not attracted to. So it's just a matter of compromising and just understanding what your spouse's style is, so that you can blend and match it to put it in your home to make it comfortable and good for both of you. Does that answer your question? I hope it did.
Yes, I think that sounds...
Having both spouses taking the LifeTraits quiz can help them zero in on their styles, and then they can better communicate and implement those styles to combine them.
And I think they understand more. Like if they know what trait they are, they probably can understand their spouses better, because they could see, oh yeah, I could see that in you.
Right.
And the compromise would be easier when you understand both your personalities.
Okay, and then our final question is, if I take the test again, will my design personality ever change? Will I get different results?
Oh, we actually have people who take the test numerous times thinking that their results will change. It probably will change a little bit, but if you're dominant, if you have a personality that you're really dominant on, it would still come out even though you've taken it 10 times. I mean, Kristy just said this today, like she took it again today because she couldn't find her results, and she's still a director. So you could take it a few times and you could try to change your answers, but you'll still, if you're truthful enough, it'll still come back to what your dominant style is.
Okay, I think that's all of the questions.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. If you have not taken the LifeTraits quiz, it's a fun test to take. It's very short. It's only 20 questions. So if you go to www.decor&You.com/LifeTraits, you could take the quiz today and discover your design personality. Also, we're offering a free ebook. So if you go, it's a guide for designing each room in your home. It has over 30 pages of interior design tips and pictures that will show you how to design and decorate various rooms in your home that best fit your style. So if you'd like to download your ebook now, go to decor&You.com/ebook. And it's a great guide, and I know you'll enjoy that. All right, well, thank you again, and thank you for joining us today. And for those of you who are not able to attend, we'll send you the recording.